Hello there. So today I just simply want to actually go through more on my perspective on what's going on here. Apparently they took down Parlor and Trump's been blocked and we got all this craziness going on and everyone on the right's going crazy. They're all just like, "Oh my God, we had the government and we didn't do anything about it and that was such a mistake and it was bad and they have to be stopped." And I'm thinking to myself, are they talking about the government taking over and taking control over these big corporations, these big tech businesses, and all that stuff? The very thing 5 minutes ago they were saying they were against the government doing. Now they're saying they want the government to do. Also, they're changing their tone on big corporations. They used to say big government was bad because big government isn't held accountable to anybody. They just do what they do, and people vote for them, and it is what it is. But the corporations, on the other hand, are held accountable to the people because they have to make a living. And if they're going to start producing stuff that people aren't going to buy, aren't going to want to buy, then they're not going to make money. So they're held accountable. They have to be held accountable to the people. Where the government is not the same thing. Once they're held in office, they eventually have to be held accountable. But there's a nice amount of time they can do a lot of damage. And it's much more dangerous to have the big government than the big corporations. It's actually the big corporations do a lot of good. They provide a lot of jobs for a lot of people, and they have the right to run their business how they want to run it. If they're doing stuff that people don't like, those people are free to open up other businesses doing the same other stuff, but in a way that's ran in a way they think is better, and may the best man win or best woman win, whatever it is. Um, this was something people on the right were talking about all the time up until 5 minutes ago. Now they're saying, well, big anything is bad and we got to stop the big government, the big corporation. It's now all bad. So what? We can't grow big things now. Like, is that what you're saying? We can't actually make an Amazon. We shouldn't make an Amazon unless we're gonna get the government to control that, and then the government, if the government decides they're gonna control it in a way that's going to be dangerous for us, and and then there, and then we have the problem that you were talking about with big government. So that problem I don't think goes away when all of a sudden they're dealing big government to big corporations. It's still the problem of big government is you're growing the government more actually. You're giving the government more power over more things. So it just seems like it's counterproductive to what the Republicans were for, but I think they just don't know what they're doing kind of. They're kind of like they're scared and they're just thinking like we got to do something. We can't let things go as they are and things are just really bad and this is just bad and we don't know what to do. And one of the things that you can do is actually treat the situation for what it is. And what it is a cyber war. I think this is really important to understand this, how that this is a cyber war. There were cyber attacks going. They were demonetizing and blocking and throwing off and doing all this stuff to conservatives and all that stuff. Those are cyber attacks. And those are fine. I don't think they go against anyone's rights or anything like that. The right does. And they've been saying this for years, which I never thought was a coherent thing to say. I never thought it made sense. I don't believe the internet is a place for that has rights. Actually, I think that it's a business like any other, and should be treated as such. If I decide I'm gonna have a synagogue or a church or whatever it is, and you come to my church, you're gonna speak in a way I don't want you to speak. I have the right to kick you out, and it's the same thing here. Everyone on the right's just like, oh, but you can't have your own platform. You can't have this. You can't have that. It just happens to be the left has been ahead of the right, and the right doesn't like it. They don't like that the left is ahead of them, and they have more power right now, and they don't like it, and they're scared, as I said, and they don't know what to do. Got to get the government, but the government's going to control that power that you're scared of, and you were scared of the government before to have big power that can be dangerous and corrupt, and but in the hands of people, you would argue are not suitable for these sorts of things, and you'd rather people who that's their job to do this. I'm just making the same arguments they were making 5 minutes ago, but now against them. It's really absurd. Um, Ultimately, I think at the end of the day, you just got to understand they're behind, and the left is ahead, and they got to catch up. That's really, I think, all that can be done. They have to catch up. They have to build their own internet. They have to build their own platforms. They have to do everything that's in their full control. You don't like that it's in the left's control, but they did it. They should have the right to their property. This is that is their property. They allow you on their property. They don't have to allow you. Does Google have to allow you? Do they have a right to have to allow you? I don't know why they have to allow you. You have to pay for the internet. Does that mean you have access to whatever internet providers out there want? Are they not allowed to stop you? I don't know why not. Maybe there is a reason why not. Maybe they have rules themselves, but who made those rules? Can they change the rules? Can they decide we want to do things how we want to do things? I don't see why not. I don't think there's a problem with that. You could say I remember hearing this. All the people in the right are saying YouTube is going against all their rules. Twitter is going against all their rules. There's nothing in the rules that say otherwise. Like, okay, then don't use them. It's really that simple. But it's just tough. It's a tough situation because you don't like the control that they have. You don't like that you didn't do it. You didn't get there. But you got to get there. That's really the only way. And I think if there is going to be a war that the right's been talking about and predicting all that stuff, it's going to be, if anything, more because the right is scared and going to be attacking back against a reaction from the left, who's in this case not actually doing anything. The left does their own stuff that's dangerous and bad, and I'm scared of the left. But at the end of the day, I think it takes two to fight, and I do think that it's gonna, if the left is gonna provoke the right to fight, it's gonna come down to that. But at the end of the day, there is a chance also the right's gonna attack the left for this stuff, and think that there's justification for fighting. Maybe, I don't know. There was just an attack on the Capitol from people on the right, and it's been proven that there was people on the right who did it. So as far as I can tell, everything's all up in the air. Everything's inside out. We got people who are arguing one thing 5 minutes ago, now arguing something else, the opposite. 5 minutes later, everything seems a little crazy here. We got to calm down, and we got to actually just move forward with things and actually fight the cyber war properly. And I think the good thing about the cyber war is it's not there to shed blood. It's a cyber war. It's on the internet. So you just they run their things how they want. That's how the right was for this. That they run their platforms how they want to run their platforms. Businesses, corporations, whatever it is. They're not physically harming anybody. And the right does the same thing. Right now, they have all these platforms on the left's internet as well. So they really got to just find a way to fight against it and go have their own everything. That's what they got to do. And that's ultimately freedom. That's really what it comes down to. You may not like it. On their platform, you don't have freedom. But that's their right. You don't have freedom in my house either. You don't get to behave how you want and do what you want in my house. It's the same thing. And the right was making the same exact argument 5 minutes ago. They're not being consistent. They're not making sense right now. And I think it's because they're scared. They don't know what they're doing. They think that the left is just ruining everything, and that's it. and they're reacting to their fear. They're not necessarily reacting to the situation at hand properly, appropriately, and all that stuff. That's really what I think. Anyhow, that's all I got for that. Like, subscribe, share. Join me on my Facebook group, America and Values. All the best. Thanks for watching.